This is Also Cool Sounds Like. I'm Alejandra. I should tell you all, before I really get going, that Bella Harned, who you're hearing about today, is one of my best friends. Do you remember in the intro episode to this season when I talked about pressing my hand dramatically against my friend's window to say goodbye before she went back to BC? That was Bella. I wasn't sure if I should feature someone I'm so close to on the podcast, but I don't believe in objectivity anyways, and besides, trust me when I say you want to listen to her music. Bella and I took a trip to one of my favorite places in the world with another friend of ours a few summers ago, to a place called Level Lake in New Hampshire. We all agreed that swimming in that water was a truly healing experience for all of us, and diving under, then coming up again, felt like being washed clean of everything that had been hurting. Listening to Belle Tower is like that. It's a wash of healing and love, the kind of love that Bella likes to call love with a capital L, the love that reminds you that you belong here in this world. That is my entirely unobjective opinion, anyway. Belle Tower recently released her debut EP, titled 10-2, which, as you'll hear her explain, is a gorgeous testament to growth. Her own growth, yes, but I also see it as all our growth. We've all been through so much, and these songs seem to both celebrate how far we've come, as well as recognize the growth edges, the parts that were hard, the parts we shouldn't have had to go through. In her songwriting, she's able to make difficulty beautiful without romanticizing it.
Each song definitely carries its own theme in itself, but the way that they come together, I think the general theme of the EP and me as a musician and just as a person is really is growth. And so when we were thinking about that, and this is a bit of a long-winded story, but when I first started writing music, it was in about 2016. I went through a pretty intense breakup, and I was really trying to find some closure and solace in it all. And so I started to write. Before that, I had been involved in St. Lo and really kind of was doing some collaborative writing, but I mostly just kind of was focusing on offering violin and harmonies to that. But when I went through this really traumatic kind of experience, I needed to find something to get me through it. And I really kind of finally got into writing. And also that year, I got a tattoo on my thigh, it was inspired by a Joanna Newsom lyric that reads, "I have sewed untidy furrows across my soul, but I am still a coward, content to see my garden grow so sweet and full of someone else's flowers." And I thought about that line so much, of really wanting to not continuously tend to other people's gardens, but my own. And to have that kind of as a reminder that my garden deserves to be cared for. The name 10-2 came from kind of tending to your garden, but it also was a play on words with patterns. And, I tend to do this because I definitely fall into certain patterns of care. And so I like to think of the EP, the theme of the EP, as kind of this like woven quilt, because when you're thinking kind of about patterns or like a garden plot or something, that, each theme on the EP, it's 5 songs that carry pretty heavy life themes. The first song is about generational trauma. The second song is about kind of overcoming like misogyny in the music industry, but also kind of just in general. The third song is about like existential dread, but also, caring for your garden. The fourth song is about kind of depression and solitude, but isolation as well, kind of finding some solace within isolation, which is definitely something we've all kind of moved through this year. And then the last song is about accepting who you are and loving yourself. So those are all very meaty themes, but I feel like they all kind of come together in this way of representing growth and what growth means to me. So I think while they can stand alone, and while they kind of did stand alone for a bit, because four of the songs I released as singles before I released the main thing that came together, I think the way that it's all been woven together, it has been really beautiful. And so that is the general theme of 10-2 is about growth. Before I started writing music, I have always been a big music fan. My parents are really into music and kind of created a space for us to be able to appreciate music in every way. And I think I kind of watched them and then found my own way of using music as a means of like processing emotions. And then when I started writing, I really just kind of understood that on a whole other level. And actually now I think I can't process tough emotions without writing about them. I think the songs from 10-2 were kind of a snapshot of, you know, my first experiences doing that with writing, because this EP is my debut EP under this project, and it is really very much a representation of kind of the first songs I ever started to write. And I think my songs are deeply personal, but it's almost, I don't know. I think I write about what I'm moving through and what I feel, and I use, just as, you know, some people like journal or go on a run or whatever, like writing songs is my way of processing those emotions. So it's been really incredible to kind of see how, you know, when the song takes on new life and is shared with others, that something so kind of deeply personal is able to reach many people and connect with them in whatever that meaning kind of means to them personally. What I learned so much from this process is like a song may never be done. A song has different iterations, but the experience of recording and putting a piece or an EP or an LP or whatever out into the world is you're kind of like committed to what that song is and what represents for the time that it was. But I think knowing that a song is done when you're writing it, I mean, what we learned so much and what I was so grateful for is that I brought what I had been writing and working on, and I had ideas, but those songs grew so much from that little seed that they were in my notebook to now, you know, the final product that they are. And I think a song really never stops growing, but knowing that it's done, I don't know, I think I like show it to people that I care about. For example, with Fear, you know, there's the last part of it, the bridge, and I really wanted to have the guitar solo there. Like that was what I was really focused and committed on, and I was going to get rid of that vocal bridge. And then I spoke to one of my old bandmates in St. Lo, Bashu, and my mom, and I kind of let them know that, and they were like, no, you can't get rid of that, there's no way. So it's interesting to kind of see how other people who know your songs are invested in them a little bit. And so we kept that part in, and I was so focused on having both the guitar solo and the vocal phrasing, because these two people in my life who care about me and my songs were like, no, you have to keep that. And the final product was beautiful. And so I think knowing that a song is done, a song is maybe never really done, you can like reimagine old songs as well. But for me, it's kind of like when I play it for people and the response is like, oh, this is really, really good, and I'm like, okay, this is potentially done. I'm going to talk about the last song on the EP, She Moves in Phases. It is a song that is about being kind with yourself and your process. Over the last few years, I've moved through a lot of change. I mean, we all have in the last year, but especially kind of, it's really about like accepting who I am in not only like my queer identity, but also just, you know, when you move through so much with your mental health. Yeah, the song is really just about trusting your process, and it's about doing so by following how the moon changes, and in all her different phases, you know, she's still herself and doing the best that she can and lighting the sky up, even if it's, you know, not full. Yeah, I want people to kind of know about the song because, again, just kind of if me being able to share and process what I have been through, and that offers others some kind of understanding or solace or peace or solitude, then that's really amazing and beautiful. So offering the context behind that song, I think, is important.
I don't understand how you push me away. The look on your face, like you've got nothing to say. Words are fleeting in our case. Learned everything I needed to know from your gaze. Start exactly where you are, in the humming of the quiet. The moon, she moves in phases and still keeps the night sky lit. If you breathe, you won't lose it. I know that you've come this far. Picked up the pieces, mended your broken heart.
Our attention to the moon, her phases, and the cycles of all the other astrological bodies is one of the things Bella and I love to connect on. We're both Virgos, in case you're curious. And I love the earthiness of this record. Sometimes when I think astrologically, my head gets up so high in the stars that I can forget to feel the magic in the soil under my feet. 10-2 reminds us that in order for our magic to reach the stars, it has to first be planted lovingly and sturdily in the ground. Belle Tower reminds us that growth cycles include planting, watering, harvesting, and composting, and that sometimes it might feel like you've regressed, but really you've just begun a new cycle.
I need to shout out and credit Erica Hart, who is a Montreal multimedia artist. I reached out to Erica when I first started thinking about coming up with visuals for the EP. I feel like Erica really understood the importance of visuals and aesthetics of this world that I was trying to create with 10-2. My vision for it was to create almost this otherworldly, cosmic kind of, this world of 10-2 that I think it's the world that I am currently in and have been living in over the past year is almost this magic place. Like the place that I currently am and call home is very otherworldly. And so I wanted to be able to kind of take my experiences of that and translate that into something that everybody who enjoys my music could also be a part of and connect with. And so, what that world looks like is it's very much, kind of represents the West Coast, but it's the ocean and like the vines and flowers and shells and crystals, and it's creating that world. I couldn't have done that without Erica. I feel like I had these wild ideas that they were just like, okay. But there wasn't much of a kind of a rhyme or reason behind it. I just had these ideas of what I wanted to do, and then they kind of came together.
Jupiter moved into Pisces last Thursday, a very exciting time astrologically, which promises abundance of imagination and creativity. Bella told me that the last time Jupiter moved into Pisces, she moved to Montreal and began her journey as a musician. This time, she's made the decision to say goodbye to Montreal and to begin her new journey in Vancouver. Still, even though life circumstances have guided her elsewhere, her first musical roots will always be planted here.
I will always consider myself a Montreal musician because when I left, I'm originally from Vancouver. I grew up just outside of Vancouver. And of course, it is my home, but I consider Montreal kind of will always be my home as well, because when I moved away from Vancouver, I wasn't a musician. I became and grew into who I am in Montreal. And so I am going to be based out of Vancouver. The decision to kind of leave Montreal was definitely not planned at the time. And I think the way that life and my path has kind of led me back to BC it feels like a real homecoming, especially because of that Jupiter and Pisces thing. That's just like really wild. But at the same time, I think anybody who leaves Montreal never really leaves Montreal. That is what its magic and its charm is. I remember I read this book. What they did was they looked at different cities around the world. This book maybe came out 5-6 years ago. And they talked about the different elements of a city that kind of like made it special. And what this person talked about with Montreal is that the city has a heartbeat. And Montreal's heartbeat is never going to stop beating. And I feel so incredibly grateful, for the time that I have had. I think for me in coming into who I am, being based out of Vancouver is just going to make a lot more sense at this time. But I'll always consider myself to be a Montreal musician. I think Montreal will always have a special place in my heart. I've never really been a musician in Vancouver, but I've lived in Vancouver. I've been a musician in Victoria. I have had the opportunity to kind of travel all across Canada for various different reasons and kind of have seen the different music scenes. And I think what makes Montreal so special is that it is pretty transient, and there are different people or musicians who come and go, and it creates this beautiful kind of container space for creatives to thrive and to explore and to grow into themselves. And I think there's nothing quite like it. And I definitely don't feel like I'll ever officially say goodbye to being a part of that community. So I'm excited to see, moving towards maybe playing shows again, and what it would look like, to kind of maybe play like a homecoming show on tour in Montreal and be able to connect with that community again.
I remember years ago, before Bella and I were friends, I went to a house show in the middle of the winter. There were boots piled on the floor by the door, and people crowded in together, finding room on couches and in corners wherever they could. I was there to see St. Lo play, though at the time they were called the St. Lawrence Warehouse Company. It was the first time I saw Bella play, and the first time I had witnessed the magical combination of her harmonies with Laura Glover and her violin. They played their song Bury You Come, and since it was my first time seeing them play, I was surprised when the whole living room started singing along. I'll never forget it. There was so much love in that room for that song and that band, and I think having grown into the musician she is in a space bolstered by such a community is part of what makes Belle Tower so special.
Speaking of a staple of the Montreal music community, I think St. Lo was a formative experience for a lot of people, even people who weren't in the band. Yeah, when I think about the Montreal music community, I think about so many like little house shows, or big like Sala Rosa, where everybody's singing Bury You Come. Being a part of that project, and being a part of the project is something that will always be and is incredibly special to me, because it really demonstrates what a collective kind of looks like, and the beauty and challenges of both, of really being in relationship with others and showing up for others in every way, shape, and form. Playing in that project was such a formative experience for me, because I learned so much from the people around me and the experiences that we had, and to the way to kind of connect with music in such a deep way. And I think also with that, there is sometimes a certain level of comfort and codependency that you fall into with such a beautiful but really safe relationship. And so I think with Belle Tower, it was really, I felt like I needed to challenge myself to step out of that a little bit. I think I was challenged in certain ways with St. Lo to grow in other ways that Belle Tower did not offer me. And then with Belle Tower, I've really been challenged to grow as a solo artist, to make my own decisions, to really be okay, this is my project, and this is what I want to do. And I can't rely on anybody else. So decisions are made a lot faster, I think, but it's also a little bit scary because the weight is all on you. Working with St. Lo and being one of two women in the band, I was so grateful for Laura Glover, because we had a bit of a companionship in that. Moving into a project that I know is I am a solo artist. I am a woman in the music industry. You have a certain awareness of the potential of being taken advantage of. And I think I take up a lot more space than I used to. And I'm not afraid to take up that space because of, my previous experiences. I also think being a queer woman in the music industry says a lot about that maybe as well. I am just grateful for this process of coming into my own and really knowing who I am. I have been so inspired by other musicians who have been doing so. In 2019, I was really lucky to be a part of the Forever Chorus for their last season. That was just such a beautiful experience for me, because I was coming into my queer identity, especially as a woman in the music industry, and was surrounded just by strong queer folks who also, probably are involved in the music industry, because there's a lot of Montreal musicians who are in that choir. That experience, especially kind of rooted in that community in Montreal, really showed me that completely just being who you are and taking up that space is such a beautiful thing. Having experiences like that, being a part of communities like that, gives me a lot of hope for a way that the music industry is moving. I grew up listening to a lot of music that my dad brought to me, which was a lot of Motown, but a lot of kind of like folk as well. And I idolized Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Well, I didn't really idolize, but seeing how that era of like men in the industry has continued on, and then like somebody who is very much my idol, and I know that you love as well, Phoebe Bridgers. I really feel like there's this new iteration or a new era of music of like badass femmes and women who are just killing it and who are saying, this is who I am. No, you actually cannot define me for your experience of me, which is maybe like to consume me as like an object, or to speak about my appearance or what I'm doing. Like I'm defining this experience for myself. And I'm so inspired by that. And I'm so grateful to be a part of that era of music.
To be completely honest with you, I'm heartbroken that Montreal won't watch Belle Tower grow as a project from the inside. But I know that she's taking a piece of Montreal with her. Our conversation made me think about the fact that I'm also leaving Montreal soon. I hope that when I go, I too can bring the essence of the city with me, and hope that what I've left behind makes for good compost for new creators to plant their seeds in.
I have been away for over a year now, but I don't feel any further away from my community, and that says something very special about the community that exists within Montreal. I think my real intention, and I've been talking a little bit about this because I'm lucky that a few of my close friends and collaborators are also moving to Vancouver. It is my life's goal to be able to create that same kind of connection and community that I learned from Montreal and take it to another place. It is not a common occurrence that community that exists in Montreal exists like that all over the place. It's special, it's unique, and I've learned so much from it. And I'm really excited to see like what happens with the Vancouver music scene. So I know that there's quite a few musicians who are like moving back from Montreal to Vancouver. And so I'm really, really excited to see what's going to happen when we are able to kind of seed and create that community in Vancouver from everything that we've learned from our experiences in Montreal.
Where we both stories in full.
Also Cool Sounds Like is produced and edited by me, Alejandra, in collaboration with Also Cool Magazine. Music by Oren Ratowski. Artwork by Malaika Astorga. Check out the magazine at alsocoolmag.com or on Instagram at alsocoolmag. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other cool places you like to listen.